first thing is we come into the standing position, and you need to find enough space, so this is your body's width. So clearly you're not going to knock anything. Also, you feel you have enough space. The ground beneath you is comfortable. If it's cold, you should wear slippers so the feet are happy to rest on the floor. They're not tensed against it, because it's one of the most important parts of the body in Qigong is the feet, the ankles. Unless we get a good connection to the ground, the earth, then it's not going to be beneficial. So coming into the standing position, and this is something to develop, because often we don't stand very well. We tend to lean, like this, or lean on something. I don't stand very long. But with Qigong, you can stand for a considerable period of time, because if you establish proper balance, the standing is almost effortless, and it's quite comfortable. So taking up the standing position, the legs are body width apart, so you can feel coming down straight from your hips. Your legs are not straddled, and they're not tightly pinched together. So the underarch of the legs feel open. Second thing is that the feet are parallel rather than normally people would stand like this, with their feet like this. You want to have your feet parallel. This is slightly strange. First. Third aspect of the standing is that your knees are slightly bowed as if you're straddling something. So the idea is that the knee should be over the center of the foot. Okay. The next thing is the legs are not locked. They're not straight. They're not stiff, but they're slightly loose, so you can feel the spring, and the knees are maybe just slightly bent and flexy. The most important feature of it is that the muscles in the upper leg and the lower leg are both available. Now, if their legs are stiff, those muscles are essentially locked, trapped. So you want the legs to be loose enough. Anywhere where the muscles are hard is going to limit the flow of energy. So we don't want hard muscles in this form, because these act as blocks to the energy. So the muscles must be loose. Yeah. And a lot of the exercise is actually not on the major power muscles, but on the connective tissues, the sinews, and opening up the joints of the body. Standing, so we have that, the legs, the feet. The next stage is the tail, and the tailbone should be as if rather like a dog when a dog tucks its tail between its legs. You have a slight sense of turning the tail under just a little. So the attitude can be about to sit down. Sometimes it's even called the horse riding position. So you're about to sit down. This means that the buttock muscles are not carrying the weight of the body, but the weight of the body is coming down through the legs into the floor. This is an important principle. Also, that the abdomen is not tight, so we might see if you're just slightly pulling that back. So any pressure here, muscular pressure, is relaxed by drawing the abdomen slightly in. These are very slight movements. So the aim is that at the end of it, it's not that you're holding the position, but the position feels settled in itself. You don't have to grip it. So you relax into a particular form. As that occurs, what will begin to become clear is now the legs are doing the holding, and here is relaxed, and in the back side is relaxed. And as you spread your awareness up your body, Bringing the arms slightly away from the sides of the chest, and the phrase is as if we have blackbird's eggs in the armpits. You may never have had a blackbird's egg in your armpits, so you might not know what that is. But now is the time to imagine it. So it's too wide, you drop them. It's too tight, you squash them. Lightness. Imagine. Some of this movement is done just by signaling, that is, sending an imaginary impression into the body and letting the body respond. So the signal, blackbird's egg in the armpit, widening the back. So it's not as if we really do very much, but imagine the back is wider. This can help certain unconscious holding to release. But certainly this is not about doing anything deliberately, other than just sending a message in. Back can be wide, plenty of space. There might be a tiny physical movement, but there's also like an energetic movement, and even a psychological attitude. We feel more spacious. Standing form. The arms are long, trailing down. Hands, if they're relaxed, the hands have a slight curvature to them. Palms feel open. Extending your awareness up through the shoulders. Remember, the neck is the continuation of the spine, and this is something that is not normally experienced. Normally a head operates separately from the body. It's often leaning forward. Now we try to make sure the neck is very much just an extension of the spine, coming up into the back of the head. And the skull itself, bringing up the idea, the impression of the skull, the box of bone, resting on top of the neck bones. As if it could just rest there. Like I sometimes imagine a fountain with a ball in the fountain, the way the ball would bubble as that fountain held it up. So in other words, encouraging the muscles in the neck to be soft and relax, loosening the jaw. Yeah. So if the head is now just almost floating on top of the skull, of the neck. So loosening the jaw, loosen the tongue, relaxing the tongue, and then also around the eyes, as if the eyes are now focused at infinity, the gaze, and also around the eye socket here, these subtle muscles are relaxed. Many muscles in the face, and the theme to bear in mind is if you don't need the muscle to be active, relax it, otherwise it will carry tension, it will block the flow of energy. So the more that we can access even subtle muscles like the fingers or the palms and check and release them, then the softer the body feels and the more the energy is allowed to circulate, and one comes into balance, and the balance is the body's intelligence sensing absence of pressure. The energy then can flow readily through the body. This is by no means like a volcanic energy or a kundalini. It's just a simple sense of warm vitality. Coming up through the head, the forehead, you have as if you have a band around here, from the forehead, the temples, and back to the back of the skull. Just imagine you're unwrapping a bandage or a headscarf. As this is affected over a period of time, you may be able to be more sensitive to the scalp, the top of your head, because these muscles are relaxed. Therefore, the top of the head becomes more apparently felt, sensing the space above your head. The last point, and it can be good to have a friend tell you about your posture, because we can't see our own bodies, and it's not uncommon for people to unconsciously be standing like this. You know, to them it feels straight. For myself, I used to stand like this and it felt straight. Yeah, so if you get a friend, say, no, no, no. That's more like it. Hopefully you have a friend, but if you're on your own for a while, then you place a hand here, you place a hand here, and that will tell you, you'll be able to sense, oh no, that's about it. Yeah, and it can feel unusual, because not that many people stand properly in a balanced way. When you get used to it, you begin to learn that, or reset your impression of your body, it becomes very balanced. There's a quietness about the standing, because no muscles are being used other than those which are absolutely necessary just to sustain the form. And with the release of the muscles, there's a release of tension and a flow of energy. This form, Chinese, is called Wu Qi. Qi, again, that word energy, empty, Wu, empty energy or empty force. So the body is, in a way, empty of these internal tangles, and energy can flow and be felt within that. For a beginner, this itself may still feel unusual, and if you do it early in the morning, you may feel dizzy, because it's the tension that's normally holding you up. When you release it, you feel disoriented. So anytime you feel dizzy, you should sit down. It's good to do this perhaps, maybe not straight after a meal, but within a few hours of having eaten, so the body is properly resourced. This form itself, if you can do this just for 5 minutes in a day, a few times a day, it will certainly give you benefits. Wu Qi. This is the fundamental and perhaps the most important Qigong form. You always return to this to let your energies settle and integrate.